Welcome back, boxing fans, to another great event with Sean on boxing. Thanks for jumping in, people. Obviously, this is a hot topic, right? People have been talking about it nonstop, and I understand originally why people talk about it. When breaking news happens, people are going to talk about it. And obviously, if you're a Devin Haney fanboy, you're going to latch onto this because this gives you an excuse why your fighter got beat by a guy that everybody assumed was going to beat him, especially after the way Ryan Garcia got dominated and destroyed by Tank Davis. So you knew the excuses were going to come. This, of course, gave fuel to the fire and gave Devin Haney fanboys an opportunity to latch on to an excuse. And nobody's saying that it's not a legitimate excuse. It is. But if you're like me and many other people in boxing, you know that all these dudes are cheating. Devin Haney's a guy that has been weight bullying Lomachenko, Prograis, and many other fighters recently. Yet no one complained about that because, of course, they're Devin Haney fans. We see the LDBC and these other channels literally acting as if Devin Haney is the face of American boxing. They literally have said that, right? And there's nothing even remotely true in that statement. You can like him. You can think he's got great upside and potentially maybe he'll become the face of boxing, but it's an opinion. It's definitely not a fact. Then, of course, within the States, you have this back and forth, Tank Davis fanboys versus Devin Haney fanboys. Yet some people acting as if it's based on race. Both of these fan groups are Black Americans supporting a Black American fighter. This is no different than Errol Spence fans and Bud Crawford fans, right? The reality of the situation is, you can be a boxing fan, you can be a fan of a fighter without being a delinquent in the way you perpetuate this. With this whole scandal, I don't care that people are talking about it. The only thing I commented on is the fact that literally this is what some channels put on their feeds day in, day out. It's the only thing they're talking about. Literally, we just had a big event recently. They didn't talk about it. We have a big event this weekend, and Deontay Wilder's on the card. Yet these guys aren't really even talking about it. They'd much rather push controversy, sow the seeds of discontent within boxing, than literally jump on the bandwagon of how great boxing has been in 2024. Obviously, this is a black mark on the sport. But if you want to be realistic, nobody is fucking delusional enough to think that boxers aren't cheating. Some people want to make it out that it's only non-black boxers that are cheating, and that black boxers would never cheat. Never, ever. The fucking saints that they are, they would never do anything corrupt ever, right? But these people, of course, are pushing the narrative they consistently push on their channels. Racial bias, right? And yet accuse literally of everybody else of doing the exact same thing that they fucking are doing, right? You can have a bias, but do you need to literally fucking strong arm everything? That's all I'm saying, right? It is what it is. Sean, great to see you going live. Cheers, Jay Will. Iceman, what's up? Hard Recoil. I was just watching documentary about Ryan Haney juicing and weight bully. If you haven't seen it, I haven't. Do you have Cottrell winning by a wide margin? I did. I felt he won easily. I've had it 8-4, and this was me being very generous towards Josh Taylor because I prefer Josh Taylor. I like the way he fights in compared to Jack Cattrall, who isn't really stylistically a fighter that I like. But it doesn't matter what I like. It matters what happened, and this is what happened. Drunk Irishman's in the house. Tap the Tiger Tamer. Salute. Sean, is Cottrell's top 5 at 140 now? Of course he is. Of course he is. Who would you put above him? I mean, you have Lopez, Matias, Haney, and Lopez, right? Did I miss? Well, Lopez is coming off of a poor performance. Haney's coming off of a terrible performance. I mean, he fought well at times, but obviously he still should have won that fight. Sabril Matisse looks like a monster, but yet he still hasn't stepped up and faced a legitimate top 10 opponent. What's his face? Isaac Cruz looked good against a bum-ass fucking shit show in Rolly Romero. So you got to put him right up there, right? Who would you put above him, right? At this point, he's got literally 2 legitimate victories against the undisputed 140-pound champion. And he did it before Lopez did. Sean, pin your basketball and soccer channels, bro. Didn't I do it already? I did it last time. Remind me later, because it's hard for me to see, right? I'm old, so to do that now, it's like a pain in my ass. If Wilder doesn't KO Zhang, he's done. I think Wilder's getting KO'd. If he fucking... Zhang will KO him in 3 rounds, inside 3 rounds. If the fight goes longer than 3 rounds, then I expect Wilder to win by unanimous decision. I don't think he's going to KO Zhang. I had it 9-3 Cottrell. Yeah, that's more how I had it as well. Haney is overrated, and Ryan should be kicked out of the sport for all the shenanigans. It is just me that can't stand either of them or their fan bases. Well, yeah. I mean, Ryan Garcia is a douche, and fucking the whole build-up to that fight, he did not, I don't think, fucking earn any fans. And then to go on with his bullshit, you know, whether Floyd Mayweather told you to come in overweight or whatever, sometimes it's best just to shut the fuck up. And then to get caught on PEDs, I mean, he's not doing anything that everyone else hasn't done. Everyone that gets caught comes out with tons of excuses. It literally is fucking par for the course. So I don't think he's doing anything different. But sometimes this kid just needs to shut the fuck up. And Haney, oh my God, man. Like, we know you lost. Just fucking take it and wait for the courts to fucking give you a no contest. And then move on with your undefeated record. And then try to prove yourself moving forward. Right? Kind of like Robert Guerrero, who got beat by Salido. Right? He got beat by a Salido who got caught using PEDs. It became a no contest. Robert Guerrero went on in his career and then ended up getting big fights and you know, becoming a bigger name post the loss than pre the loss. Wilder is definitely going to sleep. Both Haney and Ryan are garbage truck juice. I mean, to be fair, Ryan Garcia has great power. But with great power comes great responsibility, and he dropped the ball with that. But he was always limited offensively. We've always said that. And with Haney, Haney was always a good boxer. But the question people had with him is what's going to happen power-wise when he moves up in weight, and he doesn't have the power to keep dudes off of him, to hurt dudes, and he doesn't. When's the last time he got a knockout, right? He doesn't have power. I mean, literally, Lomachenko stopped Kambosos. And people will say, oh, this is a shot Kambosos, a fucking shot Kambosos. Give me a break. Kambosos' whole career was fucking lying on this Lomachenko fight, but he's a shot fucking Kambosos. Oh my God. People will literally fucking say anything. Literally. I think Sandor Martin upsets Haney. That's a tough fight. Like, you knew when he was the original mandatory, they weren't very excited to fight him because he's awkward and a difficult fight, right? As we saw when he fought Lopez, and many people feel he beat Lopez when he beat Mikey Garcia, right? And basically sent Mikey into retirement. I do expect Haney to beat him because styles do make fights. Sandor Martin is a boxer. What he does in the ring, Devin Haney does it better. And he doesn't have the power to really be a threat to Devin Haney. So Devin Haney should really be probably at his best against an opponent like Sandor Martin. And Devin Haney definitely needs a bounce back win to build his own confidence and to build back whatever sort of hype he had going into the Ryan Garcia fight. Because literally he was cherry picking, and we know this to be true. This is not any different than when Deontay Wilder cherry picked Fury. Devin Haney was cherry-picking Ryan Garcia to become a pay-per-view star, hoping to use Ryan Garcia's star status, his 1.2 million pay-per-view buy fight against Tank Davis, to elevate him into that next echelon of pay-per-view stars, right? The difference is he's not nearly as exciting as Tank Davis. So it's understandable that Tank Davis is more of a fan favorite than Devin Haney is. But unfortunately, it did not work out that way. And it's fortunate for them, they now have an excuse. Because if Ryan Garcia never would have failed this PED test, as many fighters out there don't, they go on, take their tests, microdose, never fucking get caught, and continue on with their careers. If that would have happened, these guys still would have made excuses about why Ryan Garcia was too big, was a weight bully. You know, there would have been a shitload of excuses coming forward. It just is what it is. A lot of people latched on to Devin Haney like they latched on to Errol Spence, like they latched on to Deontay Wilder. And they did not want to have the same kind of results happen to them. And yet they have the same kind of excuses and the same kind of stupid fanboy mentality regarding all three of the fighters. And it's kind of funny that it's the same group of people, and this is what's happening consistently with their fighters. Haney ain't no Miguel Cotto. That he ain't. OJ is my number one fan. He loves me. OJ Simpson. Give Haney's tune-up against Virgil Ortiz at 155. Wow, come on. Why are we even bringing him up at 154? I mean, the reality is he probably, and Ryan Garcia and Josh Taylor probably should all move to 147. But if they move to 147, we know what's going to happen. Boots Ennis is going to fucking destroy all of them. And then the greatness of all of them is basically going to be fucking diminished and exposed. Boots Ennis will knock fucking Devin Haney out like this. He'll knock out Josh Taylor. He'll knock out Ryan Garcia. Like, nobody fucking thinks that's not going to happen. None of those dudes are going to be running towards him. Devin is the only man to not stop or drop Gamboa. I know. And that's why we were critical of that time. Why do you think the potential of a 5-on-5 America-Mexico card? I saw some rumored fights like Bud Canelo, Munguia versus Plant. OJ, I just made a video yesterday. Go check that shit out, man. And then leave your comments on that. And then I'll make another video addressing it. And I am, because one of my subscribers, sorry, I can't see my phone, but he left a great comment. And based on his comment alone, because that's the kind of channel I am, I'm here for my subscribers. I'm going to make a follow-up video, and a lot of it's going to be based on his comment, which was fire. Fantastic. Smart comment. Even though I don't know where it is. Let me see. Ooh, sexy. What are you doing? There's a few things I can put on that video. Here it is. Heinrich, 96. I wonder if Heinrich is from Germany. He says, better yet, USA versus Russia. So my next follow-up video is going to address that. And plus, I also saw another post on Twitter talking about Mexico versus Mexican Americans, right? Which also is a very intriguing thing. What's the term they talk about? You know, they said Ryan Garcia didn't have any. He didn't have any. I don't know what it is. I don't speak Spanish. But, you know, this would truly be the battle of whatever the fuck that is. Where am I? Sorry. Sean Inui, you heard Usyk will join The Rock in an MMA movie called The Smashing Machine. I did see that he's going to do that. Makhmudov almost punched that guy into the seventh row. OJ, that card is in the works. It is in the works. And OJ can check out my fucking video. Top the Tiger Tamer. I think it's rumors of now, but Turkey wants it. Well, it's rumors, but we know Turkey. It might not be the exact same fights that have been listed, but you know it's probably going to get done in some sort of some form or another. Go watch the video. Give me your subscribe, your like, and leave your comments. All the weight bullying at 140, avoiding 147. Exactly. Okay, I'll check it out. I think Eddie feeds Regis to Kittrell. That's a smart fight, right? Like, think about it. You could do a Taylor rematch, right? Which probably financially is a smart fight to do. Maybe you do that in Saudi Arabia, and now it's on, what do we call it? Non-hostile or no favorite territory. You don't get the Scottish or the English, bias, which people are saying happened in this second fight. But Regis Prograis would be a great fight as well, even though Regis is coming off of a loss. So him coming off of a victory might actually benefit that fight because it would be more interesting. They're talking about him potentially fighting Subriel Matias, who also is with Matchroom, but I don't know if Kittrell is going to be too interested in that. But people feel that Matias is there to be beat by a good boxer, right? Yeah. Josh, Devin, and Ryan are food at 147, but they got to move up. Well, I think they got to move up just because the way it looks is that they're struggling to make 140, and they just got to that division, right? Which tells you probably both of them are fucking PED user. But I know Devin Haney fans don't want to hear that because that goes against any narrative that they want to push. What do you want to see Josh do Maybe Regis rematch or move up to 147, fighting Barrios caliber, possibly since the division is so weak. Well, that would be a good fight, right? Josh Taylor, Mario Barrios, obviously he's coming off of a loss, so you'd have to think about putting him in with a sort of a tune-up fight beforehand. But is it worth the money, right? That's the secondary position you get. The money he wants, can you put him in with a no-hoper coming off of a loss? Taylor was tailor-made for Kittrell. What would you like next from him, Billy? I heard Sergey Derevyanchuk. He is, 39 years old. I think Derevyanchuk is a great opponent. Obviously, Billy can't really get any of the big name opponents right now, the big name fighters. But you throw him in with Sergey, he's a quality victory, right? We saw how Jaime Munguia struggled with him. So it'll be interesting to see what Mbili does with him. If Mbili goes in there and fucking blitzes him, that's a fucking statement. That's a statement and a half. Regis and Taylor went out. Sad times have changed at 140. Yeah, but that happens, right? Stay away from Matias. Everybody's time ends. It just is what it is, right? They had their moment. Unfortunately, they probably didn't do as much as they should have. And now it's done. Jose Ramirez is food as well. He should move up. Out of all of them, he's probably the guy that will really benefit the most from moving to 147, right? Because physically, he's the biggest out of all of them. So he'll be able to carry that weight. He'll probably be more resilient in his chin because he didn't look fucking great against Francis Bartholomew, right? He never looked chinny before, but he looked chinny against Francis fucking Bartholomew, who's not a power puncher. He's also got good power, so that'll probably carry up because he is physically a bigger dude. Bob Arum went off on one, didn't he? Josh isn't even American. That's the irony, right? He ain't gonna bring fucking any more Americans to the UK. Well, Josh ain't fucking American. What are you fucking talking about? Yeah. I mean, I was just talking about how Copus Mentis Bob Arum was previously, probably a week or two ago, based on an interview I saw him do with somebody. And then to come out with that, it was just like, fuck, dude, are you high? Like, what are you talking about? That tells me Bob's more future plans for Taylor if he won. Well, yeah, of course he had plans for him. You think Bud will go to undisputed at 154 or fight Canelo at 168? Uncle Bob is a legend. That he is. I think for Bud, there's two directions he can go, depending on the PBC and if they're willing to play ball with him, right? Luckily, with Saudi Arabia throwing that opportunity for him to become a unified champion there, then the possibility of fighting a Funduro Spence winner is there. Fighting, obviously, Charlo is there. Both of those fights are big fights, pay-per-view, right? Charlo, Spence rematch for unified titles, right? They make sense. Obviously, the Lubin fucking Russian dude, that's a waste of time fight. What they'd be better off to do is have Tim Tszyu versus Virgil Ortiz winner face Lubin or the Russian guy, because the winner of that would be a far bigger opponent for Bud Crawford, right? Or for Charlo or for Spence, right? That just makes more sense. And then if those possibilities don't sort of fall into place, then you have the possible Canelo Alvarez fight for more money than you would probably make with probably not all three of those fights, but all three of those fights probably wouldn't pay you that much more money than you'd probably make for fighting Canelo Alvarez. And it would be possible to do in the States in a huge outdoor venue, right? Which would be fucking legendary. I saw John Boxing basically criticizing people because they're pushing for Bud Crawford to fight Canelo, but they're not pushing for Inouye to fight Tank Davis. I don't know if really anybody's pushing for Bud Crawford to fight Canelo. Everybody I see still says they want to see Canelo versus weight bully David Benavidez, right? It's ironic that they're so upset about weight bullying, but that's the fight that they definitely want Canelo to take. And literally everybody says that. Even Canelo fans all want to see him fight David Benavidez. And in truth, it kind of makes sense. If you lose to David Benavidez, who's a weight bully and currently at 175, it's not the worst thing that could happen to you. But if you lose to Bud Crawford moving up from 154, that's a far worse look. I think that's why even Canelo is kind of poo-pooing the possibility of taking that fight, because he sees that it's not really it's a lose-lose scenario for him. But if he gets paid $200 million by fucking Saudi Arabia to be a part of that card in the US, how do you turn it down? You already know, AJ. Iceman, you would know best. Bob called out the whole British boxing board. He did, and he should. They're like fucking ridiculous, man. Like the whole PED shit that's been going on. And of course, Americans don't talk about this. But with Ben, who's black, right? But he's not American. But that whole thing, people also from the UK fucking, not to the extent you see this whole Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney thing going on in the States, but made videos after videos, countless videos pushing that fucking story too. And for me, it's the same. I don't fucking care. Have those people fucking deal with this shit so we can move on. I don't need to fucking hear this shit be stretched over a long period of time. These commissions that are in charge need to fucking get off their ass, make a fucking decision, and then we as boxing fans will move on with it. And that's what today's video is about. Let's fucking move on. Why do we always want to focus on the worst things about boxing as opposed to move forward to the great things about the sport? If Ben is going to be suspended, then he's going to be suspended. If Ryan Garcia is going to be suspended, he's going to be suspended. It's no different than fucking Jared Big Baby Anderson Miller. When he was suspended, he was suspended. And now he's come back and fallen right into the lap of big money Saudi Arabia. Congratulations to him. But, right, like these aren't the only guys that are eventually going to get caught using PEDs. This is an ongoing situation that's going to happen from time to time in the sport consistently. It is what it is. I think Baranchek is easy pickings for Loma, Tank, Shakur. If they want to unify, Loma might not fight the countryman, though. He ain't going to fight his countryman and his Olympic teammate. Bud and Canelo and Inouye versus Tank are video game fights. Well, that's what it is, right? I mean, you don't take what Saudi Arabia and Turki al-Sheikh is doing as too serious, because what he's literally doing is fantasy fights. Yet he's got enough money to literally fucking do it. So as a fan, all I can sit back and enjoy it, even though in theory, it's not really the fight that I want, right? I would rather see Bud Crawford become undisputed at 154 to become a 3-weight undisputed champion and see if Inouye can do the same thing at 126. Obviously, Usyk's not going to do that, but they can. And that's fucking legendary. Legendary. But if Inouye wants to jump up and take on one of the big name fighters at 130, 135, or if Crawford wants to jump up and take on Canelo, who is obviously the face of boxing, so it makes sense, you know why they're doing it. That's why they're doing it. And who am I to hate on a brother for getting paid? I didn't hate on Floyd Mayweather for fighting Conor McGregor. Why am I going to hate on Inouye or fucking Bud Crawford for getting paid? I'm not. LDBC is a walking contradiction. That's a fact. What do you see happening with Ryan? 1-year suspension, a win overturned to a no decision. Yeah, I expect it to be a no contest and Haney to still have an undefeated record. I saw that Haney was trying to push for a victory, a disqualification to get a victory. You don't deserve a victory, right? Robert Guerrero did not get a victory against Salido. And you don't deserve a victory against Ryan Garcia because you did not win. Sure, based on the evidence, he doesn't deserve the victory either, and you don't deserve the loss. So let's move on. Big Baby failed 2 separate times. Do you think New York Commission might take into account the fact Ryan actually fought, whereas Big Baby was caught before? Well, the reality is Big Baby was caught with fucking multiple fucking steroids in his system, right? Multiple. And he'd been caught before. So he was a second-time offender, maybe third-time offender, because he was caught as a kickboxer, right? So, you know, obviously I don't expect Ryan Garcia to be suspended to the same extent as him. But then Ryan Garcia's got bigger name than him. So Ryan Garcia, I think, can go fight in Saudi Arabia. And they can say, you'll never fight in America again. And he can be like, whatever. I can go get paid $50 million to fight in Saudi Arabia. Fuck you, right? Like, you go fight him against Conor Ben for the all PED fucking Olympics in Saudi Arabia. You know, Saudi Arabia, fucking Turki al-Sheikh will be like, no worries. Do it. Juice up to your gills. Let's go in. We ain't testing. And people say, this is dangerous. No, it's not any more dangerous than fighters cheating and other fighters not knowing, which I think is kind of not true anyway. I think all these fighters know everybody else is cheating because they're in fucking gyms training. When I played high school basketball and volleyball, my teammate in basketball and volleyball, he was one of the best track and field stars in high school in Canada. He trained at York University with Ben Johnson. Everybody that trained with Ben Johnson knew Ben Johnson was using roids because they all fucking were using roids. The dude that I played with was 2 inches shorter than me, and his vertical was fucking unbelievable. He was throwing down 360 dunks, pumping, and the guy's like 5'8" with small little fucking hands, right? But they all fucking know everybody else is juicing. And I mean, truthfully, all these dudes that go to all these gyms, they should know this stuff, right? Unless the boxers are so mum on it that it doesn't get talked about. But I don't think that's true. I think all these fucking trainers and all these managers, they fucking know what's going on. And they don't care because there's millions of fucking dollars on the table. Like every sport. Haney fanboys might be the worst in boxing. They're definitely fucking idiots. Drew Titan has went schizo. He's raging. Whatever. That guy's a fucking mental case. The guy that said that fucking Fury's trainer should be killed in a fucking car crash. What does that tell you about him? Like, dudes fucking will say anything. Literally, these channels will say fucking anything. How do you like Spence versus Fundero matchup for the WBA belt? Well, I think it's kind of bullshit with some of the criticism people threw towards Lomachenko. But nobody's surprised that an in-house fight between two PBC fighters is being made, right? It's the same reason that Lomachenko-Kambosos was made, right? It's the same reason that every fight, like Navarrete fighting Baranchek for the WBO title, was made. Like, this is not unusual. The only difference is that some fans will be super critical of certain fighters while giving other fighters a complete pass. Spence, coming off of a brutal knockout, might want to take a less difficult opponent, right? Who's fucking gangly and shows that his elbows will cut you like fucking crazy. And Errol Spence is very in front of you, a bit one-dimensional in his approach. He's right there to be fucking elbow slammed and have a big giant cut on his face as well. But we'll see what happens. I mean, if he ends up winning that WBA belt, it kind of works out perfect for the PBC. Then they can do a Bud Crawford rematch, and now it makes sense, right? I said this from day one, right? They shouldn't be doing the fight after that brutal loss. They should bounce back, potentially go to 154, both win titles, and then have a rematch. You can go back and watch my videos where I said that. So this is just unfolding the way I thought it would. I don't really care that Spence is getting the fight. I didn't care that Fundero was getting a fight against Tim Tszyu coming off of the knockout loss. Some of these channels did, right? They literally were hating on it because they were pushing for Lubin to get the fight. Always with the racial narratives. Now that it's fucking Spence, they no longer fucking cared that they complained about Fundero getting the chance, right? Because these guys literally will fucking say anything. Literally. I'm interested to see who is going to train Spence and Charlo since both left Derek James. I'm surprised Charlo left James. Yeah, you can see the fights different in Saudi. Speaking of basketball, this Luka-Kyrie duel is something else. I'm going to make a video about that as well, because obviously there's a bit of controversy now. They're saying this is the best backcourt in NBA history. And I wouldn't say it's the best in NBA history. There's been a lot of great backcourts in NBA history. This is kind of like how Anthony Edwards was getting tons of fucking hype after the Denver series, and they were calling him the next Michael Jordan. And now, obviously, Kyrie and Luka are doing great and sweeping fucking Minnesota. So now this is the kind of rhetoric that, of course, we hear about them. This is just the media, right? Media speak, right? Who's hot at the moment? We're going to fucking talk crazy shit. But to be fair, both Luka and Kyrie deserve praise. Luka should have been MVP this year. The guy averaged 34, fucking 9 and 9. Never in history has anyone ever put up those numbers. Right? And they said, oh, he only got 50 wins. What do you mean? New York, who was number 2 in the East, also fucking had 50 wins. He was just in a much more difficult Western division. where the competition is fucking crazy. I said from the beginning of this playoffs that the team from the West was going to win. Boston's not going to fucking win. No chance. No fucking chance. And if they do, congratulations. What a surprise. Let's move on. Jason Dayton, what's up? Sean, have you noticed in the last 5 years that Europeans have been slowly and surely have been taking over boxing? Well, I won't say Europeans have been taking over boxing. They've been taking over certain divisions, right? From 175 pounds to the heavyweights and cruiserweights. Mostly it's dominated by Europeans. All the lower divisions have recently been dominated by the Japanese. And in between, you have Americans and Mexicans, right? So I think it's a really good mix of global representation. Some people, of course, want to push racial narratives because that's all they care about. But I mean, it's great that so many different people are doing so well and so many areas in the world are doing well. It's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. Ben Johnson was big as a house versus Carl Lewis. He was, but I was a Carl Lewis fan. I was upset when Carl Lewis got blown away by Ben, and then Ben got off the airplane and said, stereos? I didn't take no stereos. If Spence still has juice in the tank, I think he can get underneath that soft jab and break down Funduro's body. Funduro boxed good, though, against Tim Tszyu, even though after the cut. Did you see Fannin and Fartman sending shots at each other on Twitter? Laugh out loud. Oh, well, that's not a surprise. Both those dudes are fucking clowns. Clowns. Celtics versus Mavs. Do you know if Usyk is being stripped of the IBF title? That's the talk on the street. Usyk did put in a petition that he wouldn't get stripped. And the problem is the IBF, man. It's the same thing they did with Canelo Alvarez when they tried to force him to fight fucking, who? Derevyanchenko, right? And literally, they offered Derevyanchenko a career-high payday. He turned it down, and they stripped him still. How do you turn down a career-high offer, and then the champion still gets stripped? The IBF is fucking terrible. The WBA, worst rankings in history. The WBC, corrupt as fuck. The best is the WBO, and even they're not fucking perfect. Sanctioning bodies are the cancer to the sport of boxing. Turkey Al-Sheikh, please go in, buy all 4 of those motherfuckers out, flush them down the toilet, and let's start fucking new. Just use the Ring magazine belt. Sean, I tell this to all the black channels. It's black fighters' fault why they are becoming more hated than normal. Reason why is because their racist remarks. Whites have had enough. Well, you got to think about the whole energy in the United States right now, right? Everything bad is being pushed towards white America, specifically white men, right? Everybody's fault. It's always white men, their fault. Black people all over social media are saying the most ridiculous shit, saying fucking horrendous shit. No white person could ever say the things a lot of black people are saying on social media. You've seen it. I'm sure everybody has. Some people like John want to ignore it and just make it out that it's all poor blacks that are being attacked by fucking racist white people. But the reality is I lived fucking in the 70s and the 80s and the 90s. And things weren't fucking nearly as racially charged as they are now, right? In the 60s it was, sure. But a lot of that also had to do with the Vietnam War and other things. But this is media creating this fucking us against them so they can control the people. And people are so stupid, they buy into it. Like, we're all being fucked over. Everybody. So why are we fighting amongst each other? Especially regarding boxing. Like when Devin Haney comes out and says, no white boy's going to beat me, that's a response that no fucking white guy could make towards a black guy without having fucking the whole LDBC fucking lose its shit. Because literally, when you say black fighters don't sell and your GG's trainer, it becomes the fucking biggest thing ever. Yet the irony is Floyd Mayweather said it first. Right? He said it first when they were talking about a possible fight between him and Shane Mosley. Why pay to see someone that is always speaking rhetoric towards a race that will actually fork out money to support you? This anti-white is about to end. Maybe the best scoring backcourt duel ever. Maybe. Can Devin beat Jack Cantrell or Pitbull? I I think he beats Cottrell because the same way I say he beats Sandor Martin because he's a better boxer. But I think Pitbull beats Devin Haney, right? Because pressure breaks pipes. And Devin Haney now, the way he looked like he was drained in that 140-pound fight. He looked like he didn't put on full weight for that fight. And I think, that's a sign that he's should be moving up in weight. And he's probably a little more less resilient than he was, right? This is why Ray Leonard was so loved. He kept the racist remarks to himself and put America first. Respect all races, and all races will respect you. I mean, you look at Michael Jordan, Tiger Woods, right? All those guys were loved. Leonard was fucking my favorite boxer when I grew up, obviously, right? I grew up in that whole era. He was doing fucking, Sody Pop commercials, his son out there with big smiles. People loved it. Fucking, what's his face from Pittsburgh? Mean Joe Green, right? Giving his fucking Pepsi to the kid, right? Black athletes weren't hated in the fucking 70s and 80s. Only when this fucking kind of mentality came out recently, like you say. Like, I lived fucking during, Rage Against the Machine and fucking all this anti-police and anti-government and fucking all this stuff was going on. But yet it wasn't racial. People knew what the issue was. The fucking government, right? They weren't being manipulated to hate each other. But unfortunately now people are so stupid and social media has such power that these people fucking literally buy into every single media fucking soundbite that they see on fucking TikTok or Twitter. All right. Where am I? I thought they wanted to strip Usyk, so they did. That is what the IBF is talking about. But Usyk literally put in a request to have that not happen, so he could defend his undisputed. So we'll see what happens with regards to that. I think obviously what he's saying is, let me fight Fury in the rematch, and then when I win, I'll fight the winner of Dubois, Hrgovic next. I mean, he already beat fucking Dubois, so I don't see what the fucking bee under their bonnet is for this whole thing from the IBF. But the IBF always does this shit. Is the IBO belt a major belt? No fucking way. I hope they never do. Needing 4 belts, undisputed is crazy, but 5 is ludicrous. It's going to water down the champions even more. They should be one champion. One, that's it. If you want boxing to be better, one champion. What's 4 fucking champions? What fucking sport in the world has 4 fucking champions? There's no 4 champions in any fucking sport. There's one champion. One champion. And then contenders. Tim Tszyu, Virgil Ortiz, who has the edge? I would say Tim Tszyu at this point. The Vietnam War was a long war, 1955 to 75. Yeah, but that didn't really impact the States. That was France, right? Why you love GGG? What's wrong with GGG? GGG was a great Olympic boxer, went into the pros, had a nice smile, was a very approachable guy, great boxing skills, great power, exciting fighter, right? A great fucking chin. There's no reason not to like GGG. He unified titles. Literally, he did what we want fighters to do. I never watch women's basketball, but I checked out Caitlin Clark the other night. She's getting too much hate, yet she is making the WNBA relevant. I've been watching the highlights, and the problem with the WNBA is the same problem it always has been, even with Caitlin Clark. Obviously, she's putting a lot more eyes on it. Like you just said, you watched it, and I've been paying attention to it, which I haven't done since its inception. When Cheryl Swoops and everybody else was in it, then I did pay attention. But I lost interest. Even when you had Holtzclaw and fucking Candace Parker, 2 players I really liked from college. But then once they went to the W, I fucking could care less. But the problem is they can't fucking score. It's big giant girls with big asses down low, or it's girls shooting 3-pointers. And literally that's all that's going on. And they're missing layups, right? It's a boring game. The defense is not great at all. And they can't score more than fucking 20 points in a quarter. So it's like, fucking Christ, man. This game is boring as fuck. Literally. Like, there's a few good players out there, right? But that's the problem. There's a few good players. overall, when you watch a WNBA game, there's like one girl on the court that actually fucking catches your eye, and the rest are, maybe hot or cold, depending on the game. Triple G did Abel Sanchez dirty. Well, they all fucking did their trainers dirty once they got paid. We just saw Spence do that to his trainer. How come you have not expanded? You're not bad. A little, testy as we all are. I mentioned your channel on all the boxing channels I came across. Thank you very much, Jason Dayton. Well, I did get my channel closed down. I was close to 7,000 subscribers at that point. And obviously, John Boxing doesn't like being fucking exposed. So he did what dirty dogs do, right? Rat you out. And literally ratting me out for doing the exact same thing he did, which is fucking ridiculous. But it is what it is. Nick Ball or Ford? I think Ford is going to win. I think Ford is just a better boxer. He's obviously got way better fucking range, better jab. I mean, Nick Ball's a real short dude who's going to have to pressure like crazy. Ford's going to be able to fucking control the distance, I think, easily. I think we'll see a far different version of Ford than we saw against the Eastern European dude he fought. And as far as Nick Ball, I guess if he is like Isaac Cruz, maybe he can win. We know Ford is struggling a little to make 126 pounds. I'm not sold on Brian Norman. Well, Brian Norman looked good against a one-dimensional, limited opponent, right? Who was tailor-made for him, and even struggled and had some issues in that fight. You look at the few fights prior to that, and he really looked like he had a lot of talent. But the question was mentally, does he stay focused long enough? And obviously he's still young, 22. So he's a great addition to the 147-pound division. Definitely looks like he's got a great fucking skill set. But the question is he going to be able to utilize it? And then obviously he's got Boots Ennis there. I don't fucking like his chances against Boots Ennis. I find that ironic that you got shut down by a guy that says the N-word and calls whites monkeys. I have never heard you say anything racist. Well, the irony is when people talk about me on his channel, they call me all kinds of racial fucking stuff, right? It is what it is. This is literally the problem people were saying, right? In America right now, as a black person, you can literally say anything and you're exempt. Whereas a white person, specifically a white man, you're going to get fucking canceled like that. Luckily, I don't live in fucking America. I live in Taiwan. So Taiwanese people don't even care and fucking could care less and don't give a fuck about all this woke American shit, and don't speak enough English that they even fucking worry about it. I can't lie. Listen to BFTB since Devin loss has been hilarious. Rachel Donaire comes on stroking him off. I don't really know what's fucking wrong with Rachel Donaire. Like, what's wrong with her? That she's fucking kissing ass to LDBC channels that literally have no respect for her or her fucking husband. None. They're the biggest haters to fucking Nonito Donaire in his whole fucking career. But yet she goes on those channels and thinks that they respect her. First of all, those channels don't respect her because she's a woman. I mean, if you've ever listened to those channels fucking talk, they don't respect women, right? Not at all. So they don't respect her because she's not black. They don't respect her because she's not a woman. They don't respect her. They use her. And then she goes on those channels and somehow she thinks this is somehow helping their profile. I mean, if you need to fucking kiss the LDBC's fucking ass to help your fucking profile, like Devin Haney and his daddy, yeah, I question fucking your promotional fucking tactics because there's probably better things you could do. But okay, who am I to talk? She can do what she wants. Rachel was definitely pandering. Do you get offended like Americans do on every little thing? Me? Oh, they? Taiwan? No. William Zepeda versus Giovanni Cabrera up next. Never heard of him. What do you mean? Giovanni Cabrera just had a fight with Isaac Cruz not that long ago and gave him a good fight. The problem with Cabrera is he's a good boxer, tall, long, but he doesn't have much power. right? So the problem with him and Zepeda is how's he going to keep William Zepeda fucking off of him? I think he'll go the distance. He went the distance with Cruz, and Cruz is a resilient, nonstop fucking puncher as well. But it'll be a good fight. There's this one Greek boxer that fights around 154, 160, and is 11-0 with 9 KOs, fighting this guy from Kazakhstan who fought a good fight with Cody Crowler a couple of years ago. I saw that. Yeah. What's that? That guy that fought Cody Crowler was Errol Spence's IBF mandatory for almost 2 years. It's ironic that nobody was pushing the IBF to make him a mandatory for Errol Spence, right? It's funny. Errol Spence and Charlo didn't have any IBF fucking title defenses. Didn't have to. Siberian Tiger or Doberman. Oh my God. Get a fucking grip, dude. Get a grip. Maybe you fucking throw in 10 Dobermans. Maybe they stand a chance. Just, confusion. On Overtime Boxing, Rachel flew that manager, Marty, out, paid for everything, got him on Victor Conte's interview, and then he ghosted her. Well, yeah. Well, yeah. That she gets what she deserves. Haney's daddy is willing to do anything to save his son from the loss. Funduros dropped the WBO belt, so now Bud versus Ezreal is for the 2-belt unification. I don't know if he dropped, but literally the IBF said, WBO said they're going to strip him because that was their mandatory. One of my favorite fighter boxing matches, Gatti versus Ward. I mean, there is so many more. Well, so many more. Where is that fight? I saw it. I just predicted it in my prediction league. There we go. Where are you, buddy? There it is. Andrios Katsorakis, 12-0 with 10 KOs versus Abdur Kokov, 20-2, 12 KOs. It says 11-round junior middleweight fight. 11-round. That must be a typo. Because who the fuck has 11-round fights? I mean, in theory, I like it. You should do odd numbers because that way you're not going to get a draw, right? Like, they were talking about having 5 judges in the Fury fight. Well, that's okay. I mean, I guess in theory, you shouldn't be able to have a draw with 5 judges. But if you have a draw with fucking 3 judges, you could have a draw with 5. But, where are we? People are ranking Usyk top 5, 10 best heavyweights ever. Do you agree? I think it's premature to jump on those kind of conversations, but he's definitely in the conversation, right? He's in the conversation. We'll see what goes on with the rest of his career. If he beats Fury in the rematch and then retires, he's definitely in the conversation. Do you agree with Bob Arum on the British board scoring fights? Well, I don't think it's them scoring fights. I think fucking everybody scoring fights is terrible. This is why I'm not discrediting Boots fighting with Crowley. I think it'll be a good fight till Boots beats Crowley down. Crowley is a great inside fighter. Maybe that's something Crowley can use. Yeah, I don't think you can compare fucking Crowley to Abdur Kokov to Boots. JB said he's blocking many friends on Facebook because of racial statements, but do his friends know he runs a racist YouTube channel? More judges means more people to corrupt. I miss 15-round fights. Well, that's the truth. Real big fights should be 15-rounders, right? That should be the standard. But, 11-rounder sounds weird. I think they need to go back to 15-rounders and you won't see so many weight bullies. That's true. Mad Chad's in the house. Usyk definitely in the conversation. Overtime boxing has a rule that if a fight is a draw, they box an extra round. I like it. Hit the like button and subscribe. 116, 112, the most rounds I could give Taylor, but some rounds were pretty close, mostly because of pressure. Yeah, he was pressuring, but it was ineffective. He wasn't landing punches, and he was eating fucking left hands like Candy Jacks, and he couldn't fucking get away from that jab. Whenever fucking my man threw that jab, it landed right on fucking Taylor's face. Taylor had no head movement at all. None. I personally think ex-boxers should be the judges. I mean, they did actually train and fight, yet they're all brain damaged. So do you really want those guys to fucking score your fight? Do you think Michael Montero's takes on boxing? Do you think Michael Montero's takes on boxing? Do I like Michael Montero's boxing's takes, or what do I think about Michael Montero's takes on boxing? Generally, I like Mike Montero. How do you feel about Opetaia's performance against the 39-year-old, 22 months inactive Breedis? I think people should chill about him moving to heavyweight. No, I think the problem is he's struggling at cruiserweight. IBF, next day weigh-ins, he looked drawn, man. He did not look fucking like he put on much weight in that Breedis fight, which is why I think he was probably as not as resilient as he should be. I think if he goes to heavyweight, he's going to be far more resilient than he is at cruiserweight. There are fights. I'm a big fan of Martinez and Ioka. That's a great fight. Who do you like the Opetaia fight next? I'd like to see him unify. I disagree because fighters are biased as not more. Well, if you listen to Jeff Mayweather's channel and he talks to all those fighters and you listen to their takes, they support fighters only because they're the same fucking race as them consistently. All the black guys in the gym, oh, I'm supporting him. He's black. Like that's constantly what every fucking buddy says, right? Consistently. The only time you get a non-racial fucking boxing take in that gym is when you talk to a non-black boxer or trainer or somebody that's in the gym. I want to see Shakur Tank fight. Time to stop running around, running from each other, and some get a loss. Well, that's the fight that needs to happen. Big fight. Silver briefcase, green backs can sway judges. That's true. Shakur isn't running from Tank. He's been begging for the opportunity. It's Tank that's the issue in regards to fight. Well, luckily, Shakur's next fight is his last fight with Top Rank. So if that's the case, he should easily be able to make a fucking negotiation with the PBC to make a Tank Davis fight. Right? Easily. Do you think Loma still has to do? You think Father Time has gotten to him? I seriously think he can beat Shakur still, and a tight one with Tank. Well, I think both fights are competitive. Obviously, I favor the two younger guys at this point, but I think it's going to be the toughest fights either of them are in, easily. I'm a fan of Opetaia, but he does seem like a first-half fighter, or maybe only Breedis can take him to that dark place. Breedis is a bad, bad man. Tank versus Martin. Tank, 8-round TKO. How Benavidez versus Vosdick play out? 4th-round TKO. Iceman, too many understanding the fight with Schofield. Anderson Sylvia is going to be on Netflix, to my understanding. Yeah, it's going to be part of that card, right? I don't know who Aston Sylvia is, but I know Schofield. Vosdick pulling off the upset. Pfft, no fucking chance. No fucking chance. That dude is done, man. He's out of the game. He only came back for money because he's broke. That's it. But let me jump over here for a second because I made a little PPT, so I might as well add it to the screen and share it with you. Not this. There we go. So let me just, did Arthur break a rib? No, he fucked up his knee. So there we go. The controversy between King Ryan and Devin Haney. You know, I see a lot of stupid comments on social media, so I just figured I would address some of them here. You don't see me hating on Haney or defending Ryan, but I feel it's old news. Obviously, when new news breaks, like when the suspension is happening, how long it's going to be, what fights people are going to have, then it's worth talking about. But my question to many of these channels was, why are they fucking beating a dead horse? Literally making the same video every fucking day. And it's not just regarding this whole topic. We see this consistently on those channels. This is just the new controversy. But if it wasn't this, it would be fucking Devin Haney versus Tank Davis social media back and forth, right? So I saw these comments. So people were saying these are the first 4 worst boxing accounts on Twitter. These coons are defending the PED cheat Ryan after he failed 4 PED tests. Well, in truth, it's 2. There's an A sample and a B sample, but it's still the same fucking sample. You can't make this shit up. There's no surprise these guys are there because we know YouTube is full of clowns that literally fucking say anything to get people to fucking subscribe to their channel. You look at Fannin. Fannin literally is sitting behind a desk with fucking, what's the term when you make crazy titles for your videos? Clickbait titles, and then you go on and listen to him say the same fucking things all the time. We go on here and they talking about boxing enthusiasts was saying that Devin Haney is no longer considered one of the new kings after his dreadful performance about crybaby antics the last time out. I mean, the truth is, you can say similar things to Teofimo Lopez. His loss to Kambosos was a very bad look for him. A few of his performances against Sandor Martin and Ortiz recently were bad looks. The next opponent he's fighting is garbage from Canada, so I guess I should be supporting my Canadian brethren, right, John? I mean, I got to support a brother, right? Because he's from Canada, right? That's what you do. So yeah, he's white, he's Canadian. So yeah, obviously I'm down with him. And Crowley's going to obviously knock out Boots Ennis, right? If I'm being like you, this is what I would do. But I'm not like you because this does not impact me. I use my common sense. For Devin Haney, I don't think he's no longer part of this group. Obviously, this was a bad look. Even if he has that loss erased from his resume, we still all watched him literally get fucking beaten from pillar to post and fucking, dragged off the floor on multiple occasions. The fear we had that he was chinny was exposed more than fucking Inui was exposed against Neri, and far more than Lomachenko was exposed by fucking Linares, because both of those guys got up and fucking knocked out their opponents. He got up and got knocked fucking down again. So it's a bad look. You can't say it's not a bad look. But obviously he's young, 25, 26 years old, and the rest of his career is ahead of him. So I think, Tank Davis fans are being super critical of Devin Haney, but yet Devin Haney fans are delusional, and the things they say are ridiculous. Example, Ant-Man came out and said, fucking no contest. Ryan needs a DQ and suspension. Not only was on PEDs, he intentionally missed weight and used illegal IVs on film. So now illegal IVs are an issue. It wasn't an issue when Floyd Mayweather did it, but it's an issue now that Ryan did it. And missing weight intentionally, it wasn't an issue when Floyd Mayweather did it, but it's an issue now. So why is it an issue when Ryan Garcia did it, but it's not an issue when Floyd Mayweather did it? We know the fact that he missed weight and used illegal IVs was to mask his PED use. And that's what we said with regards to fucking Floyd Mayweather. The only difference is Floyd wasn't caught with microdosing on his blood tests. Or was he? And they just didn't report it, right? Like, obviously, Ryan Garcia looks bad in all of this. But Devin Haney looks bad too, because he's whining like a bitch and his fans are fucking mental cases. Like, they literally create a lot of this hostility and hate towards their fighter because of the constant bullshit they put on fucking social media like this. Then we see this from Jay, Devin Haney versus Pitbull, unification, WBC, WBA junior welterweight title, who wins and how. See, this is a legitimate boxing statement. Yet I saw Knockout Boxing literally criticize Devin Haney for the possibility of fighting Isaac Cruz because, well, Isaac Cruz was a shit opponent for Tank Davis, so why is he a good opponent for Devin Haney? What do you mean, why? He's a world fucking champion now. And Devin Haney would be fighting him for unification, something that Tank Davis has never done in his fucking career. So for Devin Haney, it is a good look to become a unified champion at 140. Obviously, he looked bad in the Ryan Garcia fight, but if he goes in there and beats fucking this Mexican fucking jumping bean who's fucking got a great chin, better chin than Ryan Garcia, fucking great gas tank, and goes in and beats him, it's a great look. And then it totally builds up a potential super fight between Devin Haney and Teofimo Lopez, two of the guys that were the top four dudes mentioned earlier, in a huge pay-per-view. And none of them are talking about fucking Tank Davis at this point because they don't need him if they're fighting one another. And Ryan Garcia, who gives a fuck? Ryan Garcia had his two big fights. He got his money. If we never see him again, nobody's going to fucking care. And if he goes on to fight Nigel Benn in Saudi Arabia, okay, right? Or if he goes on to fight Jake Paul, because now there's the big back and forth between them, okay. He's going to get paid anyway, whether it's legitimate boxing or bullshit boxing. It is what it is. Here's Ant-Man coming out with another stupid comment. I love how everyone is picking Pitbull Cruz to win because he beat Rolly. No, people are picking Isaac Cruz to beat Devin Haney because of the style matchup. Isaac Cruz is a pressure fighter with a great gas tank and a great fucking chin. No real boxing fan thinks that Devin Haney is going to hurt fucking Isaac Cruz. Outbox him? Maybe. But can he outbox him for 12 rounds? Can he move around the ring utilizing his jab, staying out of the corners, stopping fucking Isaac Cruz's nonstop pressure for fucking 12 rounds? That's the question. And based on how chinny he looked against Ryan Garcia, people are questioning how well he's going to do. It's fair, right? It's not a criticism towards him. It's a boxing breakdown. Like, let's just use our common sense when we talk about the sport of boxing. People think, oh, well, Tank Davis beat him. Yeah, Tank Davis had his toughest fight of his career against fucking Isaac Cruz. Sure, Tank Davis hurt his arm and fought one-handed in a lot of that fight. But unlike Devin Haney, Tank Davis has legitimate fucking power. Legitimate power. And more speed than Devin Haney. Like, as an athlete, Tank Davis far exceeds Devin Haney. And maybe even technically he's better. He's just in a smaller package. Rain, this guy is one of the problems with fanboys because he says the stupidest things ever. Look at Ryan's arms. Damn, that Austrian powered biceps. You can see Ryan clearly looks significantly bigger than Dev. When you add in that it makes you PEDs, using PEDs that makes you stronger is crazy. Ryan really wanted to kill Devin Haney that night. DQ and ban from boxing needs to happen immediately. Yeah, when Devin Haney came in and looked significantly bigger than fucking Lomachenko and significantly bigger than Regis Prograis, nobody fucking gave a fuck. When Tank Davis literally weight drained Ryan Garcia and then had a rehydration clause, having Ryan Garcia look like a skinny fucking cracked out motherfucker with very little punch resistance, nobody cared, right? Literally nobody cared. And now it's coming out that Tank Davis has had rehydration clause on multiple fighters he's been in with. But people don't care. They pick and choose when to be offended. Right? Like if Ryan Garcia gets suspended for life and banned, do you think really anybody outside of some people that only like Ryan because of his social media presence will give a fuck? He can still go on and fight boxing around the world and make shitloads of cash, and still it will be what it is. No one ever took him super serious as a boxer. No one ever talked about him as a pound for pound fighter. But okay. Some people have been talking about both Ryan and Devin will do next, showing you that regardless of the scandal, it has helped promote both guys. And this is true. We see, obviously, Ryan Garcia being talked about fighting Nigel Benn, talking about fighting Errol Spence, fighting at fucking, everybody. And then, of course, we see Devin Haney being talked about fighting Sandor Martin, obviously fighting, Cruz. People are trying to push him towards Subriel Matias, Tank Davis fans, right? They obviously wanted to fight Subriel Matias because they hope that he gets knocked out by Subriel Matias. So they can go, see? Ryan Garcia beat him because he's no good, not because of PEDs. But the truth is, fucking Subriel Matias is probably fucking on PEDs too, just like Ryan Garcia, just like Devin Haney, just like Isaac Cruz, and just like fucking Teofimo Lopez. So, which are you looking forward to seeing in the ring next? Haney or Garcia? I'll be honest. If those guys were going to be fighting in September, I would be far more interested in seeing Ryan Garcia fight than Devin Haney. Ryan Garcia is more exciting in the ring than Devin Haney is. Even though Ryan Garcia is a douche, so is fucking Devin Haney. Listen to him talk. Fucking guy's an idiot. His dad, fucking an idiot. Both of them are idiots. I don't want to listen to either of those fucking guys say anything. But yet you have people going, "Oh, Devin Haney is great. He doesn't do anything wrong. He doesn't." No, he says no white boy is going to beat me. He's fucking constantly fucking said crazy bullshit, fucking coming across like he's gangsta, right? Even though we know he grew up middle class and is not gangsta, but you get some tattoos, you get gold fucking teeth, and all of a sudden, you are fucking California tough. Like, okay, whatever. You can front as much as you want, but like the fact that you're fronting for people like the LDBC, it's no different than what fucking Deontay Wilder was doing with his pro-black stances. Never actually did anything to help black people or actually make a stand that was pro-black. But literally, these people crowned him as if he was the next fucking coming of Martin Luther King. Yet, what did he literally do to help his people? You can do things, man. You can go to protests. You can go to marches. You can fucking donate money. You can literally do stuff like Ice Cube and many other people do. What does fucking Deontay Wilder do? I don't know. I don't know what he's doing, but apparently it don't matter because, fanboys are going to fucking believe anything you say. But where are we? Haney got manhandled by the top guys. He's a bum. He tried to kill my baby. He tried to kill my baby. Canelo has the most rehydration classes in history. A lot of fans were the same ones criticizing Tank are putting a clause on Ryan. Well, no. Nobody's been criticized more than Canelo Alvarez has for rehydration clauses. The whole Canelo wait was a non-stop fucking social media thing during that whole period of time. The difference is now that Tank Davis is doing it, people are looking for a way to give him a pass, whereas nobody was giving fucking Canelo Alvarez a pass back at that time. Nobody. People were pushing for him to move his ass up to 160 and fight Gennady Golovkin. And then he dropped his title to avoid Golovkin, right? So, let's be honest about what happened. Russell versus Puello, Tank Martin undercard, and Alberto Any Good. Puello was the WBA champion, but got caught on PEDs, which no one talks about and doesn't care about, right? They don't care because he's black, so they don't want to fucking talk about that. They'll ignore it. Right? Whatever. Black guy got caught. Shh, don't talk about it. Right? He got caught using PEDs. And Russell was supposed to fight him for his title. But because he turned that shit down, Rolly Romero, coming off of a knockout loss to fucking Tank Davis, got an opportunity to fight for a fucking vacant title. Or sorry, it wasn't vacant at that time. Yet John Boxing didn't complain about fucking Rolly Romero getting an opportunity to fight for a world title, coming off of a knockout loss. But Lomachenko didn't deserve it because Lomachenko's a hype job and overrated, a bum. Didn't live up to expectation. A little off subject, but I heard Jesus Ramos and Boychuk are in talks to fight. Good fight. I think Ramos stops him because Boychuk has an iffy chin. I thought he would stop Lubin, though. Yeah, I thought he would stop Lubin, too. So, we have to see what version of him comes in. Boychuk could win that fight just behind his jab. Wilder took his brother's wife. I did hear that too. It's a good fight though, Boychuk versus Ramos. But the problem with that is, think about it. Boychuk was supposed to fight Funduro for that WBC title, but because of Funduro getting an opportunity to fight Tim Tszyu, all of a sudden Boychuk fought Mendoza, beat Mendoza, and doesn't get an opportunity to fight Funduro for that WBC title. Now he's got to fight Ramos, who literally is coming off of a loss to Lubin. Right? This is the way the PBC maneuvers things. They do what they want, even though it makes no fucking sense at hell. And these sanctioning bodies fucking kowtow to them and fucking agree to it. Lubin is going to fight the Russian guy who seems like the least skilled guy at 154. That's a fact. I think it's nice that Lubin gets a fight, even though, is he a legitimate champion that he beats that guy? Really? I mean, or is he just chasing a title? He's had multiple opportunities to fight for world titles, and he's lost every single one. Now he's fighting the least skilled fighter in the division for a fucking title. And the truth is that the winner of Ortiz and fucking Tim Tszyu probably should fight him because it would be a better fucking fight. The winner of that fight getting that title would be more significant at 154 pounds. Bomb Squad. I think Canelo. I like Canelo, but Prime Golovkin is the one and only man Canelo ducked. Facts, Dixon. Prime Loma at 126 versus Anui. Who'd you take? Lomachenko at 126 against Anui all day, every day. Ramos beat a guy in the prelims versus Munguia and Canelo. Oh, okay. I didn't see that. Golovkin won the first two fights. Canelo dominated the third. Yeah, I mean, maybe you could give Canelo the second fight, but to be fair, you definitely have to give Golovkin the first fight, right? But of course, people that hate on Golovkin don't give him credit. And of course, then they hate on Canelo, and then they don't give him credit. So literally, you're not giving the guy that won the fight credit, and you're not giving the guy that lost the fight credit, even though everybody understood that, the fix was in. He looked good. Stop the guy. Who did he fight? Would you like to see Fury come in bigger for the rematch? Bigger? I don't know if bigger is the issue, because I think he was starting to take over that fight. The problem is he stepped towards Usyk, giving Usyk the opportunity to land those big punches. If he would have continued to try to force Usyk to come on the inside, and then through that uppercut when he come in and hit that body when he was coming in, make him do the work for you, I think he would have won the fight. But because he took a foot forward, closed the range himself, he allowed Usyk to fucking be inside and land the shots that ended up fucking hurting him. 1, Golovkin. 2, could be a draw. 3, Canelo. Exactly, right? And if it would have worked out that way, that would have been probably the perfect fucking situation. Golovkin would have got his historical win, just like B-Hop did against, obviously, Trinidad and De La Hoya, just like Hagler did with Duran and obviously Tommy Hearns. And obviously for Golovkin, it would have been that Canelo fight for him. And then Canelo went on to do great things, and that fight would have just been that much better of a victory for him. But, would you think about Jukambayev? I think he's good, but he can't beat Matias. He fought on Pro Box a few days ago. Yeah, he was good on Pro Box, right? Beating the shit out of that Ukrainian guy. He's a good fighter, right? He's a legitimate top 10, 140 pounder. You throw him in with a guy like fucking Jack Cattrall. I would give him fucking 50-50 chance to beat Jack Cattrall. I think he beats fucking this version of fucking Josh Taylor. I think he beats fucking Ryan Garcia. Against Devin Haney, I think he gets outboxed probably, but probably gives Devin Haney a real tough fight. Usyk headbutted Fury, changed the fight. Headbutted him. Second fight could have gone either way, even though I have a Golovkin. You are not a real boxing fan if you think Canelo won the first fight. I think Jukambayev would beat Haney. Yeah, I think he could beat Haney, right? It's just Haney is naturally the bigger fighter and longer fighter. He's also faster with better footwork. So I just think he's a better boxer than Jukambayev is, who's a good boxer. But I don't think he has any advantage against Devin Haney, except I think he's more resilient and probably hits harder, but not much harder. 118, 110 is the first Golovkin fight, is one of the worst scorecards in history. That shit's fucking terrible. I mean, just to put fucking the cherry on top, you do that. You do that, right? It's bad enough that he lost the fight, but then you make it 118 to 110, which tells you that motherfucker got paid off big and didn't even give the fuck that anyone knew. It's like, I got the bag. It's upstairs in my hotel room. in my safe, bitch. Fucking horrendous. Horrendous. What's up, JD? You can't make shit up like that. Like, unfortunately, boxing is its worst enemy, right? To be fair, boxing literally is its worst enemy. Some of the decisions, some of the things it does are just ridiculous. Fucking ridiculous. Adelaide bird. That's a bird I'd like to fucking shoot. And I'm against hurting animals. Want to see the bag. I want to see the bag. Who do I have to fucking cheat on the scorecard? I can do that. They tried to rob Bivol too. Yeah, they did. The truth is, it probably would have been better if they did rob Bivol, because Bivol didn't fucking do anything with that victory, but literally take a year off. Pero has a legit shot versus Matias. No chance. No chance. I mean, Pero's best victory is against fucking Lewis Ritson, who just got beat by an Irishman, Paddy fucking O'Day, Paddy O'Sullivan, Paddy fucking Connor, who had like 10 professional fights. Like, Subriel Matisse might look susceptible for the first 2 rounds. And then by the 6 rounds, fucking that dude's going to be done. Paddy Donovan. Matisse is getting up there in age, though. Oh, my God. What do you mean getting up there in age? Paddy looks good. Well, he looks good against Lewis fucking Ritson. Who is Lewis Ritson? Lewis Ritson looked like he was in there for a payday. Even the way they stopped the fight, it was kind of a piss poor fucking stoppage. It was like, dude, that's as much heart as you got? You didn't even get dropped. Matias might get another body on his record. Stranger things have happened. Somebody is going to expose Matias soon, and we'll all say that the signs were there. Well, everybody knows he, in theory, can be outboxed. But everybody, in theory, can be beaten. The question is, who is the motherfucker that's going to get in there and actually do it? Right? People are confident that Devin Haney was going to do it. Are they confident now? I think Teofimo Lopez. I don't think Teo wants the fucking deal with how hard that fight's going to be for him to win. I think he'd much rather take an easier fight with fucking Devin Haney for more money. Yeah, I heard Donovan didn't look sensational in that fight, even though he got the stoppage. I can't believe Chisora, with all the money he has made, that he is going to fight Joyce. What does he want to drink out of a straw for good? Shakur admitted Subriel is a tough fight. He's got one of those punishing jabs like Golovkin and power, a lot like Golovkin. The difference is he doesn't look like he's got a Golovkin chin, right? Teo is scared of Subriel. It's not that he's scared. He just knows that to fight this guy, it's not going to be easy. You're going to have to bite down in your gum shield and go through some tough times, right? And the question is, do you want to do that? Liston had a great power jab. Oh, that was one of the other things I wanted to put out there on the Haney thing. Literally, that one guy who was kissing Devin Haney's ass said that Devin Haney had the best power jab in boxing today. Yet, where was that power jab against Ryan Garcia? Because if he utilized a power jab against Ryan Garcia, he would have won that fight easily. He wouldn't have had to do anything else but throw a fucking power jab against fucking a one-dimensional Ryan Garcia who doesn't move his head. Like I'm saying, didn't you watch fucking Bud Crawford just destroy Errol Spence with a fucking power jab? Didn't fucking Bud Crawford literally drop Errol Spence with a jab? But you're going to say Devin Haney has the best power jab in boxing. What are you, fucking mental? Like, that's what I said. People will literally fucking say anything, right? Because the truth is, they can. And when you try to hold them accountable, you're a racist. Why am I a racist for calling out bullshit? Oh, because I'm not calling out bullshit on everyone. Okay, so now I got to call out bullshit on everyone. If I did that, you'd still fucking cry about it. You'd still cry. You'd still moan. You'd still fucking whimper. You'd still fucking whine. Doesn't matter. Where was Haney's great jab against Loma? Well, that was fighting a southpaw. So obviously, I told you in my breakdown, Devin Haney's not going to have a jab versus Lomachenko. It ain't going to fucking work. And it didn't. Yet these guys still feel that Devin Haney won the fight. A guy who wins fights using his jab got out jabbed by the shorter fighter, but he won. Okay. Please explain how you score fights. Jack Cottrell might get the winner of Matias Pero. Yeah, I know, but that ain't fucking something you look forward to. That ain't something you look forward to. Haney has a stepping jab, which cost him big against Ryan. I bet Mayweather was telling Ryan to throw that left hook with Haney's jab. Zhang and Wilder, unpredictable fight to me. It is unpredictable. Taylor, Cottrell, clashing heads a lot. I think Zhang can knock Wilder out inside 3 rounds. Zhang has way better counterpunching than Deontay Wilder, and has fucking huge power as well. And I don't know if this skinny-legged fucking past his prime version of Wilder is ready to deal with that. And people go, well, he got up against fucking Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury doesn't hit fucking as hard as fucking Zhang. It ain't close. It ain't close. Zhang is a fucking hard puncher. Just ask Joyce. And also his jab is fucking a power jab, right? Which fucking was too much for Joyce. Is Wilder going to out-jab Zhang? Zhang just has to go in there and be able to fucking literally go 8 rounds. If he can go 8 rounds at a good pace, he will knock out Wilder. If he can't, Wilder probably will win. Lomachenko beat Haney. Yep, that's right. I don't think Cottrell that much, but he might be a nightmare for Matias. He could be, right? But the problem is, how's he going to deal with that hook to the body, which Taylor was effective with? You don't want to deal with that from Matias. What a group of rounds you got. Zhang again. Huh? Wilder showed a jab to set up that right hand before he went away from it. Yeah, against fucking Bermain Stavern, fucking 10 years ago. Zhang in round 6. Zhang hits harder than Wilder. I don't know if he hits harder, but he hits hard. I think if Wilder can make it past the first several rounds, he could beat Zhang. That's what I'm saying. If he can go 3 rounds without getting knocked out, then I favor Wilder to win. But I think in the first 3 rounds, Zhang could definitely knock his ass out. Zhang is powerful. He's going to come in, be the weight bully, heavy. Obviously, he should drop some weight so his gas tank is better. Be able to utilize that jab and that fucking great counter punch. Tank nullified Ryan by sticking his lead hand out to stop Ryan's jabbing. Fury tried to do that. The same versus the long periods, but it didn't stop Usyk's jab. Well, how do you compare fucking Usyk's jab to Ryan Garcia? It ain't comparable. Zhang has a bad gas tank. He's got a terrible gas tank. You got to give Wilder respect for taking this fight, though. Well, I do. I think it's good that he did it, because if he wins it, he's right back in the Anthony Joshua fucking sweepstakes. If he loses, he's probably getting a big payday for this fight as well. And chances are, if he loses, Saudi Arabians will still throw him a bone and throw him another big fight. So he's still going to make big money even in losing fucking fights in Saudi Arabia. It's not the best way to end his legacy, but if the money's right. Do you think Malik Scott credit for what is doing with Zurdo at cruiserweight, or was Zurdo just at the wrong weight? Oh, come on. Zurdo, I don't know if Malik Scott did anything to make Zurdo better at fucking cruiserweight. Who is Zurdo beat at cruiserweight? First of all, wait till he steps in and actually fights one of the best guys in the weight division. Hrgovic is going to stop Dubois. No question about that. Speaking of that, Usyk is going to be able to keep his strap. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to keep his strap, but I know he petitioned to the IBF to keep his strap, and he should. If the IBF strips Usyk after becoming undisputed, What a fucking terrible look that is for the fucking IBF. A bunch of fucking douchebags, right? Who constantly want to fuck shit up, right? They literally want to have Canelo fight some bum ass Cuban dude who hasn't beaten anybody, but he's their mandatory. Like, how does that make sense? Like, the fight can't generate enough money to pay Canelo Alvarez. And if he fights him, people are going to say, oh, look, he's fighting his mandatory here, but he's not fighting David Benavidez. The difference is the WBC did not force and mandate fucking Canelo Alvarez to fight Benavidez without stripping him. IBF has been acting reckless lately. Reckless. I like Hrgovic a lot. Of guys have ducked him, but he doesn't deserve a title on the silver platter. Of course he doesn't. Of course he doesn't. You're fighting fucking Usyk's leftovers. And based on fighting his leftovers, you deserve a fucking title? You deserve a fight, but you don't deserve the fucking title. Do you think the new WBA rehydration clause rule was made because of Tank? Probably. Probably. We know the WBA is in cahoots with the fucking PBC. And then let's think of the IBF. Why doesn't the IBF do what they did with Boots Ennis when Errol Spence was fucking the champion? Give him fucking an interim title, right? They didn't threaten to strip fucking Errol Spence. Oh, but then they stripped fucking Bud Crawford. Literally, he just won undisputed, and then they stripped him, even though Errol Spence had fucking a mandatory IBF for fucking over 2 years, right? These dudes are fucking dirty as fuck. IBF stripped Bud the day after he won it. The scumbags. Yeah, scumbags. You stripping the dude, he just fucking won the fight and just became undisputed. And you want to put Boots Ennis, who I like, but Boots Ennis never even beat a top 10 fucking fighter. And don't say it's because he was the mandatory. He was Bud Crawford's WBO mandatory, and he walked away from it. There was other fucking IBF fucking champions that didn't get the title fight. The Russian dude who just won that vacant IBF title, he'd been Charlo's fucking mandatory for years. Abdur Kokov beat Crowley. Fought Crowley, and the winner of that was supposed to be the mandatory. Crowley talked about it and said, I beat him. How come I didn't get my mandatory shot? He didn't. He got dropped fucking down in the ratings for beating the #1 ranked IBF mandatory. Sounds Saudis own WBO now. Well, that's okay. Fucking WBO is the best out of all of them. People will use it as a narrative to say Bud is scared of Boots. Boots just joined Matchroom. So there's not a better chance now than to make a fucking Boots Ennis Bud Crawford fight now than there ever was before. Because now Saudi Arabian money is fucking right there with Matchroom to make that fight. But the people that say that are Errol Spence fans, not Boots fans, because they're not fucking fans of Boots. It's like John Boxing, who now is a fan of Boots. But this is the same guy that said fucking that bum-ass dude that fucking lost to the guy that Boots just destroyed not that long ago would beat fucking Boots Ennis. He said quite a few people would beat Boots Ennis. Now he's all over Boots Ennis. Come on, man. Where was that love before when Boots deserved it? Now you're giving him love only because he's black and you fucking want to fucking push him right in front of fucking the lineup now. But the truth is, you weren't fucking saying all this great shit about him before, right? If you were a real fan, you wouldn't have fucking been hating on him to push some dumbass dude that fucking never did anything. Do you think Martin will be Tank's toughest fight yet? Very well could be. Southpaw, right? When was the last time Tank fought a good southpaw? Crawford is not going to fight Boots. I'm at peace with it. All Ennis does something. Well, Ennis can become undisputed at 147 and fucking create his own legacy, right? Just like Bud Crawford did. Who you got to bar Hrgovic? I'm not sure who to pick. Fucking Hrgovic by KO. I said Hrgovic KO by 8. I like Boots, but almost all of his fans are Spence fans. Exactly. That's the thing. They're Spence fans, right? Who don't really like Boots because they weren't really fucking hoping that he would get a fight with Spence. They're just not Bud Crawford fans. So they're happy to fucking push this dangerous fighter towards Bud Crawford as long as Errol Spence doesn't have to fight him. Right? You know, it's funny that people literally fucking make excuses for their favorite fighter to not fight tough opposition. I had Knockout Boxing come on my channel and say, oh, so now you don't want Lomachenko to fight Shakur and Tank. But yet you fucking go out of your way to make excuses for Tank Davis not to fight anyone and blame everybody else for the fights not happening. Yet we all know Tank Davis blatantly ducked fucking Lomachenko fucking for 6 years. Now that Lomachenko's 36 years old, now you want to make the fight. Why aren't you pushing to have the fucking Shakur fight? Those dudes have been going back and forth on social media like crazy. But you want Loma. The same way you wanted Spence to fight Pacquiao. You didn't want Spence to fight fucking Bud Crawford. No. Not a real legacy fight. You want him to fight an old dude to get that name recognition, right? And that's what they hope Tank does. He beats old fucking Lomachenko to get that name recognition, as opposed to fight a young, hungry, legitimate legacy win, right? I mean, if Spence beat Crawford, that would have been a huge legacy for him. But he got his ass knocked out. And he didn't get the Pacquiao fight. If Tank Davis fights fucking Shakur and beats him, that's the biggest win he can get in his career. Because literally Shakur Stevens has another 10 years in his career to build up his resume. Whereas Lomachenko might not fight past 2024. Crawford should fight Zoo, Virgil winner, or Boots versus Madrimov. Well, he ain't fighting Boots because Boots at 147. So him fighting Virgil, Tim Zoo is a legitimate possibility. The WBO will mandate that fight. He also potentially could fight Charlo, who the WBA may mandate. So, there's big fights for him. Boots, Virgil, Morrell have big-time talent, even though they don't have the best resumes. True. I agree with you. Frank has decent footwork. He's jabbed to the body and nice head nicely. He could outbox Tank for long periods. He has gas Tank too. Well, and Tank can be outboxed because he's, a counterpuncher who doesn't throw a lot of volume. I actually rate the resume of Boots higher than a lot of people. I still don't get how Spence was maneuvered into a fight with Funduro over Bud, who I believe was the Mando. Well, because it's the PBC, and they wanted Spence to get back into the conversation. Do you have Usyk pound for pound number 1 now? Yes, I do. Roman Villa, yes. As wild as he is, he beat Jolinson Figueroa a decisive manner, and Figueroa was on his way to beating Brian Norman. David, what resume? Who he beat? I love watching Boots. He's really skilled, but he's fought no one. He's fought decent mid-level competition, but that's what he's fought. Decent mid-level competition. And that was after he already had 25 professional fights or something. Say what you will, Tank never ducked a fight on Twitter. No, he hasn't. He's fucking the king of Twitter wars. Devin Haney, too. I just don't think Ennis wants to fight Crawford or he would move up. Well, let's be fair. He don't need to move up. He needs to create his own legacy, like Bud Crawford did. Bud Crawford didn't get the Manny Pacquiao fight, but he still fucking created his own legacy, became a Hall of Famer, and a pound-for-pound number 1 fighter. That's what fucking Ortiz or Boots needs to do. I don't expect Crowley to last more than 5 or 6 rounds against Ennis. Me neither. It could fucking be over before 3, in all honesty. But dudes, thanks for jumping in. I'm going to take a piss, have a drink, chillax. Charles Conwell couldn't stop Carlos Abreu that struck out to me. Oh, yeah, okay. But Charles Conwell is a 154-pound fighter that gets very little attention at all. There might be a reason for that. The welterweight division is terrible at the moment. It is, but if you throw in Taylor, Ryan, Haney, Ramirez into the mix, it becomes a much more interesting division. Obviously, I still think there's one king, and that's Boots Ennis, and the rest of those dudes are secondary. But that's okay. Boots Ennis got to beat someone, so beat them. But thanks for watching, people. Leave your comments below. Remember to like, subscribe, and share on the way out, and I will see you next time.